Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is the weekly Wednesday Wargaming questions and answers. It's an off-the-cuff video. What that means is I record and I upload. There is no fancy editing skills. You won't see my intro song at the beginning. These weekly Wednesdays are essentially a Q&A. You guys ask me questions, I'll give you the answers. There is terrain questions from time to time. There is stuff about the workshop, a scanner in the workshop and myself and everything else. It's 99% GW stuff and it's 99% 40k stuff. Just because 40k is the hottest thing at the moment and a lot of my viewers play 40k. I do have a little following of players that play Necromunda as well, which again is still set in the 40k universe, and there is a group of followers that watch and they play fantasy. I do have fantasy models and I occasionally do fantasy stuff, but all my regulars here, guys, I feel love, thank you very much. So let's start with some questions. So lots happened to me since last week, but just to remind you guys, I'm still doing commission, Let's Builds, painting and custom terrain pieces. Now let me break it down. Let's Builds, if you haven't seen Let's Build video, go and check them out. What the commission is for Let's Build is, I would build a model kit for you. Now, why would you want that service? Because you may not have the time, the space, or you might have little hands around, you know, small kids, or you could have animals like cats and stuff that just want to interfere with what you're doing. You may only have time once a week to do model stuff, which could be a game. Sorry, there's a really strong wind out there. Which could be a game, or could be painting, or you know, you don't want to sit there and glue models together. Painting as well, commission painting. So if you want me to paint something to battle ready standard, I can do that, and then you can take it away. You can wash it, dry brush it, edge highlight, whatever. Or I can take it further and do all that for you and just, you know, sort that out. Or custom terrain pieces. Now, custom terrain pieces is a question mark at the moment because we're going to go into phase 2. Which I'm going to talk about in a little while. But if you haven't seen terrain build, go and have a look. I haven't done one for ages because there's been a lot going on. But yeah, I can do that sort of thing. But custom pieces, we can sit down and go through, throw ideas at each other and come up with a custom piece unique for you. Right. I'm going to go through a few questions and a few goodies that I've come across and I found, and then tell you something not so good that happened. Okay, so actually let me remind you, because I forgot last week before about the pre-order, but this week pre-order should be, which is Saturday 10 AM, it should be, I don't know the name of it, I can't remember the name now, but it's the Dark Angels and the Chaos box. It's Vishnu, is it? Or Vishnu, whatever his name is, the Dark Mech Demon Prince type model. I think there's an Ezreal was in the box as well. Yeah, that's the only place you're going to be able to get these models for a while. Now I think it comes in at 170 euros from GW. But if you go for a third party company, you probably get cheaper. I'm going to get mine from Air Hobbies, so mine will probably be 156 or something like that. Now, is it worth it? For me, yes it is. If you're a Space Marine player and you play Dark Angels, it's worth it. If you're a Chaos Space Marine player, again, it could be worth it. Because on the Space Marine side, from what I can remember, you're getting Ezreal, which is great. You're getting a unit of Deathwing, which I think the box is, or the sprues are the Deathwing HQ, but you can turn them into HQ or normal Deathwing. I think there's 5 heavy assault intercessors in there. I think there is something like that, and I think there's something else for Space Marines. I can't remember what it is now, but I think there's something else there. The Chaos side is actually pretty nice. You're getting Vishnu, the Dark Demon Prince Dark Mech model, which is absolutely fantastic looking. Then you're getting 5 Chaos Cultists, or could be 10 Chaos Cultists, something like that. The Cultists are some description, I can't remember what they are exactly, but you're getting 2 Obliterators and a Venom Caller, which is absolutely fantastic. So for me, it's worth it because let's say Ezreal is, say, is a €25 model. Let's say the Demon Prince guy is €45. So you're already talking 50, 70 euros. The Terminator is another 30 euros. So you're talking 100 euros there straight away. Without the, I think the Obliterators and the Venom Crawler, I think they're 45, I think. This is all prices from GW now. I think they're at 45. If I'm wrong, someone let me know, but you can only get them from mail order. So, you know, you're already looking close to the mark. But anyway, for me, it's worth it, but just to remind you, it's coming up pre-order. Should be this Saturday, I think. There's all hype about it and everything else, so I think it's this Saturday it's coming up. What do you hate about contrast paint, if anything? Now for me, I like contrast paint. It's very handy. If you saw Monday's painting video, you'd see that I use, I think it's 4 contrast paints. I'm looking at the model right in front of me, so I can 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 contrast paints, and the model was battle ready. So in that terms, it's great, fantastic. What I don't like about them, there's 2 things I don't like about contrast paint. 3 things. The first thing is, in certain areas of the model, as you would have seen this on Monday's painting video, it takes longer to dry. So I came in to dry brush it, and some of it was still wet. So it sort of turned into a dry brush / wet blend. It's not a big issue, but it's one thing I don't like about it. Another thing is, when it's dry, like this model now, there's a few little spots here and there where the contrast paint's pulled away. I don't like that. So I can see little white specks. So it's not a big issue because I can go over and just give a little touch here and there. The thing I hate about the contrast paint the most, there's not enough of them. There's not enough different colour variations of them. Now I don't mean have 3 variations of the same red. I just mean I want a few, you know, give me this red, but as it dries it goes like a purpley red. Fantastic. The one I used, there it is, Opalescent Pink on the skin of the Swarm Lord, goes on like a pink colour and dries like a pinky purple colour. That's what I mean. I want more colours like that, because that's absolutely, I like that colour. But anyway, it's the 3 things I dislike about contrast paints. This is a good, next one's a good question. Why are you starting a Tyranid army now when 10th edition is so close? It's penciled for the 24th of June. 10th edition is. Because when it comes out, and I buy the box, and I will get the box, 2 if I can, but definitely getting 1. The sheer amount of models that are going to be in that box is just going to be an astronomical to add to what I already have. Not only that, some of the well, actually I say some of the models, all of the models in the Tyranid range now are going to be getting a refresh. Okay, much the way that Necrons did at the beginning of 9th edition. So then I'm going to have all these different organisms that are the same as what comes, you know, comes with 10th edition, but they look different. So, for example, the Termagants are probably going to be bigger and a bit more menacing looking. Whereas the ones I have now still look menacing, but you can tell the difference. But for me, it's just various different, you know, forms of them. Same like the Space Marines stuff. You have MK1 armor, MK2 armor, you know, all these different armor types, but they're all Space Marines. So that's, you know, for me, I could have waited till 10th edition, but I said no, I'm going to start getting the army going. And I've got a fair amount to get through, a hell of a lot to get through. But that's why, and I like Nids. I love them. I think they're fantastic. I really like models. Some of the models for Tyranids, I preferred the old lead sculpts of them. The Lictor, for example. I actually preferred the Carnifex. And people are going to scream, no, the Carnifex with the arms coming around, the forearms. I think that was actually fantastic. Now, if they brought something out like that, but it's Carnifex, but it's a special type of Carnifex, great, fantastic. I would welcome that. And then still have your normal Carnifexes and everything else. But anyway, there's been a little reshuffle here on the setup, because I found a few useful tools that I'm going to show you now. two that I found. One of them I'm not going to show you because there's stuff on it, but you'll see it when you come down for the vote. But this is one of them. It's a pantry self organizer. Okay, that's what you do with it. Okay, but I've got two smaller ones of these black shelving. One's going into the greenhouse, and where that one is now, I've got another one to put there. So what my plan is to take this, because it's got legs, and stack it on the top shelf. So I'll have the space underneath and the space on top. But what I like about these as well is they can be stacked on top of each other. Now, I'm not going to stack them on top of each other on top shelf, because I think that's a bit silly. But one level up gives me an extra, bit of space. That's the first thing. The other thing is it's a 3-tier shelf cupboard organizer. It's got the label on it, so I know what it is. Oh, it's cold breeze come through there. And I initially got it to put the back of the table to put the paints on, so I can just go bang bang. That's what I want. However, it's quite wide, so when I put it at the back of the table, it sticks out too far, and it's quite long, so it takes up a fair bit of space. So some of the bits I have at the back, like the bathroom racks, and there's a station organizer thing out there now. There's no space for that. So I had to reshuffle down here and just organise things, and I'm pretty happy because I've got more space here. I suppose if you go back to the other weekend Wednesdays, you'll see a little stack of boxes here with models hanging out over the top. That's gone now, they're over there. It's easier for me to stack those. Now the way I'm going to do the voting now, there's models on here as normal, and as soon as one of those gets voted and I paint it up, something else will come over, take space. If I go, okay, today I'm going to do a painting video, I'll take one model and paint it, then something else come out and take space. That's the way that I want to do it, so that if I build something today, it won't be up there. Well, actually, no, if I build something today, and say between today's vote and next week's vote, I build 3 Let's Build videos, so, for example. But only one thing is taken off there being painted. Even if 2 things have been painted off of there, I've got 3 things, so 2 of them will be added back. That kind of way, trying to keep it. And the other thing is as well, when they're in the boxes here, the way the lighting is, when I bring the camera over, the light's hitting the box and casting a shadow over some of the models, so you can't see them properly. And I didn't like that, so this is a lot better and a lot more organised, and when you see it, I hope you would agree. But where would you find these items? Well, I think I've got one of them in the range. I think one of them in choice. They're basically like your B&M or your Target type stores. So they have lots of stuff, and they're usually quite cheap prices, stuff like that. The kitchen section is where I got them from. Okay. Now, that's right. Now we're on to the bad news. Something very bad happened. Take up the smoke just to... Right. So as you guys know, phase 2 was well underway. Anycubic Photon 104K resin printer that showed you the test print every week. Fantastic. There was a few issues, but as soon as I figured out what I was doing wrong, where the table wasn't level, printing first time perfect. So then I concentrated on getting the filament printer put together. Putting this piece on, that piece on, double checking it, triple checking it 4 times, make sure it's correct, screws are correct, everything's correct, everything's lined up perfectly. And I think it took me the best part of maybe 2 weeks to get it done. But that's not solid 8 hours a day, that's me doing an hour or so a day here, because I was working on it, and if it started frying my brain, I'd walk away and then come back the next day fresh, or do some of it and take a little break and come back and just, so it wasn't, because the instructions weren't that clear. But even Alex said to me, I'm very impressed with what you've done there, because the instructions are gobbledygook, and you actually built it just by looking and reading and trying to follow what it's saying and looking at the pictures of it. So anyway, there's 2 settings on it. The first one is 115 volts, 115. The second one is 240 volts, 240. It's set on 240 volts. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that. So I put it down to 115. So my idea was, if it's a slow print, because it's on lower power output, it's not an issue. It means I can have the lights on here, I can be doing other stuff, and, you know, maybe have the hot glue gun heating up and doing various different things. Whereas on 240, I would be like, oh, that could trip out everything, because that's a lot of power, 240 volts. So anyway, put it down to 115. Turn it on. It went bang. Smoke bellowed out of it and everything. Tripped all the lights out here on 115. So I, you know, stood outside the workshop, let the smoke come out, and they came in. It's got a handle, so there's handles on top of it. Unplugged it all, moved it by the door. Put the switch up, lights come back on, everything else. There's no burn marks at the bottom of the box, the filament printer. But there was something obviously went bang, because it made the noise and the smoke bellowing out of it. So I said, right, okay, I'm going to email their customer support and say, look, this is what happened. What do I do now? If there's a part, send me the part with some instructions how to put it in, you know, that type of thing. So I sent an email. Email address doesn't exist. I'm like, oh no. So that means that the company that was making them and selling them has gone bust. You know, it's the Vox Lab Aquila 2. That's the maker, the company and maker of the printer. It's VOXE Lab, L-A-B, Aquila 2, or Aquila X2. So I was like fuming. So then I emailed Amazon, because they're the ones I got it through. And they said to me, okay, well, there's a 30-day return policy or refund policy that we have. And there's also a 30-day policy that we have to do with faulty products from the date of delivery. It was delivered to you on the 2nd of February. So the 30 days has elapsed. There's nothing they can do. So I was fuming. But the wife said to me, don't smash it up, don't destroy it, don't do nothing with it yet. There is actually, I'm gonna pop the plate off the bottom myself and have a look, see, you know, because it's probably just the power bit that went into it. I think I know why. But she said, take that off. If that's what it is, and you can replace that with something, then great. You know, go get a PC one and replace it with that. It's not a problem, because all it's doing is putting the power into and regulating the power around the machine. Very fantastic. There's also, it's a 3D printing shop, okay, close to me, but it's not a shop. You go in and say, this is what I want, and he 3D prints it for you. So you can't do your own stuff. You can't do it by yourself. You just ask him and he commissions you and does it, or you commission him and he does it for you. He might know how to fix it, or he might be able to get the part for you and fix it, or he might have a printer that's already broken and you can buy the part for him and he can, you know, it's a good idea. So I had to order a second printer, a filament printer, because phase 2 I needed. And what I did is I went with the Anycubic. I didn't realise that Anycubic does the filament printers. I thought it was just the resin ones. So I've got an Anycubic filament printer on its way. It should be here by the weekend, which is bonkers, because when I ordered them first of all in January, it took like 2.5 weeks for them to arrive. So that's frustrating, but I think I know why it went bang. Because I was looking at the plug's all enclosed. Okay, I even popped the thing out, the little bar out, and looked at the fuse to make sure the fuse hadn't blown. Fuse is fine, everything's fine. There's a live section, a neutral section, but there's no earth section. Okay, so the one of the plug prongs has an L, the next one has a neutral, and the top one has nothing. So I believe there's no earth in there. That's why it took too much power in and blew the unit. Because I think it's made in China. I don't think they have the earth thing on their plug sockets. But anyway, if I knew that, I've just swapped it out and got a new, you know, I've got loads of leads of those indoors. They're the old kettle leads with the three funny shaped things that go into the back of the kettle. It's one of those ones, or the same one that you have for your PC or your PlayStation or something like that. I've just swapped it out for one of those, but you live and learn with these things, unfortunately. If I can get it fixed, great, fantastic. I'll have 2 printers in. If I can't get it fixed, then I'll see if your man wants it for parts, or at least I can salvage something from it. So that's just of my enjoyable week so far. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you down and show you the vote. Now, how does the vote work, guys? Well, I show you a host of models, and you chuck on below on this video to tell me I vote for X, Y, Z. Now, don't say I vote for all of them, because that won't count. If you say I vote for any of the Chaos Boys or any of the Space Marine guys, yeah, that counts, because there's more than one, and it's, if that wins the vote, then I go, okay, which one is closest to being done, or which one do I want to do? So let's count. The last week's vote was, the winning votes were any of the NIDs and one of the big NIDs. So that's why I paid the Swarm Lord. Now the Hive Tyrant isn't over here now in the vote, only because I've just done this guy. So the colour scheme is pretty much going to be the same. There's going to be some stuff different, but for now he's out in the vote. But he will make an appearance in, you know, maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe a month's time. And then what I will do, if no one votes on him after a week or two, I'll just paint him up. Maybe put it on camera and just show you guys anyway. But I'm going to bring down and show the votes. Now that I look at the votes closed 2 o'clock on Friday. So anything after that, it won't count. But if I actually look at the votes and it's 4 o'clock on Friday and you've cast your vote at 3 o'clock, it will count, because that's when I'm looking at it, okay? But it's usually 2 o'clock. I have a quick look and go, right, okay. So I'm going to bring down and show you the votes, and yeah. Right, here's that 3-tier organizer. It's actually a lot smarter, so it gives me, I mean, these paints need to be organized still, because there's not enough space in the tray, and I can't get another tray here because the airbrush is here. So it's but anyway, we have a Chaos Knight. There's actually a unit of them. We have the Autarch. We have the Farseer. We have a Lictor, even though I don't know about you guys voting for another Tyranid. We have a Howling Banshees. I've only got one here just to represent the whole unit. We have the Horrors. Again, there's only one yet there to represent the whole unit. We have the Rogel Dawn battle tank. We have Angron himself. I think at this point everyone's seen so many Angron videos, they're not interested in seeing Angron painted again. I know I've seen so many of them. Unit Chaos Space Marines. We have Demonettes. We have Sergeant Ripper Jackson, which is absolutely fantastic sculpt. We have Engineer, Plague Bearers, Zodgod Wartsnagger. We have the Space Marine Ancient. We have the Chronomancer. We have the new Prime Minister Lieutenant, which has just come in the Battle Force Augustus box, I think it is. We have 8-bound, and we have Doomstalker. And there is the wild card. I forgot to say the wild card last week. The wild card is to find out if it wins the vote. So again, just chuck your comments below, and you know, thank you to everyone that votes week after week, because everything has to be built and everything has to be painted. Now, I'm so itchy finger to paint. I've actually got 20 Primaris Assault Intercessors, gravelled, undercoated, ready for the airbrush. I've got 10 Tactical Marines here to finish off with paint and brush. I've got I've got a host of demon models, like the Plague Bearers, for example, Bloodletters, just to get primed and ready for the next stage. Bloodletters won't go on camera again because I've already done them. But yeah, I'm excited to get stuff painted now. Now this space has been tidied up. There's still stuff to do, but I'm excited for it. So guys, one last thing before I head off, because I'm 25 minutes now. I'll say 2 things. I haven't done another hour weekly Wednesday yet, only because I've been flat out busy here, so busy. And my work schedule has been this week, for some bizarre reason, I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, and I was sick beginning of the week. I had food poisoning Sunday, Monday, so Monday's painting video was actually done in the afternoon. So instead of me doing bits and pieces, I wasn't well enough to come and do it. I had food poisoning, and with all the lovely things that go with that, that's what I had. You know, oh my goodness me, I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, the next thing is, if you're not subscribed to the channel, guys, subscribe to the channel. It costs you absolutely nothing. It helps the channel in a massive way. We're 495 now. It's absolutely fantastic. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss anything, because I post so many different videos. The plan for today and tomorrow, that's the wind blowing the door closed. Plan for today and tomorrow is push out as many videos as possible, but I've still got stuff to do here, so I may not get nothing else done today, but tomorrow then I might throw 2 or 3 videos up. But guys, anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to vote, and take it easy, and I'll see you next time.